We're back.
Welcome to Podcast.
Welcome back. It's been a short couple of days since our last broadcast.
Normally, we sort of space them out a little bit more than this, a month.
Yeah, but now we've been doing them every 2 days, so... December 25th to August, something or other.
I've been in a coma the whole time, so it was literally yesterday for me.
Yeah, so, I had to put Patrick on a medical coma, medical-induced. Got addicted to Captain Black, and we had to break him of it.
No. A lot of things have happened in the world, as I don't think we need to tell you what has happened. You're aware. But I think the last time we did do this, it was December of 2019, the last of the great years.
And now it is August of 2020, the rise of COVID.
Yeah, we're in the midst of a pandemic. We got this pandemic on, but I think when we left, I had not gone on my cruise. I went, me and Ann went on a cruise to Mexico, and then we were in Vietnam for the remainder of January. So basically, we were COVID chasers. Mm-hmm. We were trying to catch the damn thing.
Patrick was so close to COVID before it even hit the States. I remember thinking that we weren't going to actually get him back into the country.
Yeah, I thought I was going to have to call Donnie J and figure something out.
Right.
We were like, hey, you got to hook us up. When I landed in Vietnam, so I left on like the 18th of January. I landed in Vietnam on the 20th, just because of time change, all that crap. Like a 16-hour flight. Jeez, whatever. I land there, boom, here comes the reports about it. And I was like, if it starts getting crazy, I was like, really, Trump should just shut down all travel. Mm-hmm. I was like, even us, like, we are outside the country. Basically, he should just say, hey, you got this long of a grace period. Get in contact with this certain organization. We'll fast pass you back in the United States. But once that grace period's up, you're stuck wherever you are. That's probably what should have happened. And like I said, that's coming from an unbiased because we were not in the country at the time.
Right.
We didn't come back until the 31st of January. And what's so funny is I wasn't that worried about it. I was just like, I'm just worried about the flight already. Like my nerves are already like, all right, here we got this long flight. I'm going to be stuck on this plane. This one leg of it's going to be 14 hours. I ain't got time to worry about Corona. But then, me and Ann get through it all, whatever. I found out like 2 months ago, she goes, yeah, I was scared to death. We were right behind two Chinese couples in line going through South Korea, and I was freaking out. She's like, I didn't tell you because then you'd start freaking out. So I was like, all right, well, yeah, I'm glad you didn't. She does that to me, like she'll leave a candle on. I'm one of those weird people who don't like leaving candles on when I'm not in the house. And she we went to church one day and we're on our way back. She goes, yeah, I want to let you know, I left a candle on, but I didn't. I realized it in church, but I didn't want to tell you because you'd freak out. I was like, well, it's probably good you didn't do that. Mm-hmm. Or it's probably good you did what you did. But yes, there's a lot of things that happened. I think we last covered, of course, Zach's a newly father.
Yeah.
And all that business.
Look, girl, she's talking now a little bit more, and she's trying to take her first steps.
Oh, really?
Everything's just changing so rapidly. It's been a wild year. I guess I count my year starting in September now because of my kid. Mm. She was born in September 4th.
4th?
Yeah. Actually, I had a friend in elementary school whose birthday was September 4th.
Really?
Yeah. Jamie, what's her name? I say was. I'm sure her name is still that. I just haven't seen her in forever. I don't know where she lives or what she does.
The was is whether or not she's a friend or not. But her name was still Jamie. Mm-hmm. Ain't it funny how, sorry, sidetrack here. Ain't it funny, like, you'll be talking about somebody and you're like, yeah, I had a college roommate who was Korean. You're like, he's still Korean. Right. It's like, yep, okay, but you know what I'm saying. Like, because if you say, I had a college roommate who is Korean, it just don't sound. Something about that sounds odd.
You mean he is Korean?
Yeah.
You said was again.
Shut up. Did I really?
You had to play it back, but I'm pretty sure you did, and I was like, well, if it doesn't sound right, why would you say it, then?
All right, let's rewind here. I have a college roommate who is Korean. That just don't sound right. Mm. Did I say was again?
No, you didn't. You said is. I think. Look, we're going to have to move on. I don't know if you said... hey, point, you know what? In a way, point taken. Because if you can't say a college roommate who is Korean, and you have to say was because you think it sounds so correct, then yeah, technically, you made your point. You're incapable of saying who is Korean.
Well, ain't that funny though? How people get that way though?
Well, I mean, I'm trying to think of a good example. I have a tendency to misplace. I think it's of and have because I'm Southern, and I don't always say. Yeah. I don't know what the context
it's
of
like,
it is, but it's
I
like,
should have or I should have.
Should have. Yeah, I should have, but I go should have.
Which
and
is
then because of the way it sounds, I literally, I should know this, but occasionally I will type out should and then OF.
Yeah, should have.
And I look at it and I'm like, whoo.
That don't sound right.
Yeah.
I'm glad I read that.
I was like, that's a little too literal of a spelling.
I think I've admitted this before on the podcast, but my whole life, again, we're from the South. It is what it is. Can't change things. I thought it was Chester drawers. Like just the male name Chester and then drawers. Mm-hmm. I didn't even know it was drawer, draw ER. I thought it was just drawer. I don't know. I graduated college. I'm sitting in like a hammock reading, I can't remember if I'm reading Sherlock Holmes or some Hercule Poirot, but I'm reading one of those two. And it says chest of drawers, and I go, chest of drawers? Is that what that is? I was like, it makes so much sense because it's a chest with drawers in it. But I never knew that's what it was. But it took me, I was 22.
Right.
22, 23 maybe. And it took me that long to figure that out. But that was more of like a literal, I did not know it was chest of drawers. And I just found that out.
Oh, that's interesting.
But yours is more of like I know what it is, but just the way I say it, it just messes with me. But, what is it interesting? You didn't know they were chest of drawers?
Yeah, I swear I've seen it spelled that way.
Like what? Which way?
Chester.
Maybe it is. Maybe I'm not.
You're right. Chest of drawers. But I swear, I even Googled Chester drawers, and sure enough, it came up Chester drawers. So it's not like you haven't seen it spelled that way before.
Yeah, because it's enough for Google.
But that's not a brand name. It is Chest of Drawers. Look at Ashley Furniture there. Mm-hmm. But I know I've seen it spelled out Chester. Because when you said that, I was like, nah, I've seen that before.
I've seen it. Well, maybe I had, and I didn't realize it. Chester drawers is when a chest of drawers is branded with Cheetos. That's what that is.
Chester's drawers. Chester's Cheetos drawers. It's just full of terrible chips that aren't chips. I don't even know what those things are.
Is it like corn things?
It's like fried corn meal or something.
That is weird how they advertise those. If you were going to eat, would you rather eat the normal or the puffs?
The puffs.
I go back and forth. It depends on what they are. If it's just plain Cheeto, I'm going puffs. But if it's that jalapeno, I don't even think they make the puff version of jalapeno. But those are good.
At that point, to me personally, if you're going to go with the shriveled ones, I don't know what you're saying. I don't know what they are. The non-puff.
Yeah, the non-puff, just plain Cheeto.
They look but the puff I thought was the original.
It might have been, but
I think the puff is rice, and the one that you like is cornmeal. It doesn't matter. The point that I make is if I'm going to eat the cornmeal version, I would assume, I'm going to have Fritos or some variant of Fritos. They have those twisty ones.
Yeah,
they're called something.
I think they're just called Twists.
Twists,
but they're like barbecue.
Yeah, those sons are good. They have a hot one too.
Oh, yeah.
And I think there's one. It's not churros. But it's a Mexican brand that's like lime and hot spice.
Oh, yeah. And see, Doritos tried to copy it a few years ago. Tikis or Tikas or
yes, Tito's or something like that. I don't know, but those are good.
I love those.
But if I'm gonna have that, I'm going the Frito.
Yeah.
And if I don't want a Frito, but I still have that hankering, I'm gonna get a corn nut.
Oh yeah, corn nuts are great. So here's my only negatives, right? So there's always negatives with all these snacks, right? The thing with Fritos for me. If I eat too many of them, they just dry my mouth out like crazy, more than Cheetos do. And then corn nuts break your teeth. Sometimes
corn nuts are rough.
They're rough. And then Cheetos, of course, you just get them all over you. Yeah, I don't know. I gravitate towards like Chex Mix and things like that more than I do other like Cheetos and Fritos and things like that. I like the Chex. I love like the rye chips. The rye chips, I live for those. Like the bold one, the one with Worcestershire sauce. That's the Chex Mix.
I like those cuttlefish chips. Those are good.
Oh yeah. Sometimes they smell like straight ass, but then they taste good.
So, welcome to Pipecast, home of all snack foods. I just realized that we've been smoking and forgot the name of the show, apparently. Zach and Patrick here. And a commemorative, I actually scored some Penzance. Now, I've had it before.
Yep.
But I wanted Patrick to try it, and I've been hunting for it ever since. I originally had an 8-ounce bag, and I smoked all of it, and it was fine. I'm sorry, guys. Like, it's not good. Like, it's okay. Stonehaven's okay. They're not, like, you're really not, I think if you need to, if the love of the smoke to a certain extent is trying everything so your palate can experience everything, and and then there's something kind of like fun about the quest. Because I kind of relate finding a rare tobacco to finding a great movie that you've never seen before, or hunting for something that you've never, there's kind of a hunt.
Yeah.
There's an objective. It's kind of fun.
Yeah.
If you need that, that's great. But if you're looking for the best Balkan English or something like that, honestly, this ain't it to me.
There's no body to it.
It's just not great. I mean, like, I remember the last time I smoked it, and the last time I smoked it, I got it. The tobacconist said, "Oh, that's so rare. No one ever." But I was like, well, I've never even heard of this. I go, whatever, I'll try it, If it's rare, maybe it's good. I didn't really think too much about it, but I bought it because I wanted to try it.
12 years ago, 15 years ago?
It was 7 probably. I said, whatever, I'll try it. So I tried it. This has been after I'd got back from Afghanistan.
Oh, okay.
I was in my house that I live in now.
Oh, okay.
But anyway, so like I smoked it and I was just unimpressed. It smokes like a really weak Three Oaks. If you guys can remember McClellan's Three Oaks, it's not. It has the mild taste. It's like a light nightcap. It's a Margate is more interesting.
Yeah, Margate and Pembroke, I like both of them so much more.
Pembroke's a little bit sweeter version of Margate. They're the same tobacco.
Yeah.
Except one's got cognac on it and the other doesn't. But like I think Margate has more complexity. I think Esoterica really hits the mark. If you're going to go get an Esoterica blend, you're like, I know that they make the greatest. Then you really need to focus on their aromatics. They're better. English aromatics are where it's at. Not like English tobacco, like a style, or a Balkan style.
Yeah.
Nah, all American blenders make a better Balkan. Yeah. Germans make the best vapors. German, Scandinavian.
Yeah.
They have like the gold standard in my book on vapor blends. Yeah. Americans have the gold standard on Balkan, American, and English.
Yeah.
And the British make and like that's not knocking them. If you sat down and heard me say the British, I'm talking about J.F. Germain's, I'm talking about Esoterica, I'm talking about Samuel Galwith, I'm talking about Hogarth and Galwith. If you think that me saying that their aromatics is insulting, then you haven't, I guess, crossed that plane where you're into aromatics again. I've heard this defined before. I'll just repeat it. There is a level of tobacco taste. So you'll start with aromatics, and I'm talking about the ones you get at the tobacconist that are syrupy nastiness. They're not really great. The American aromatics. Yeah. You'll know it. It'll say coffee delight. It'll say peaches and cream. It'll be whatever they can put on that package. It'll be really saccharine, sweet smelling. It's not. They're not particularly good. Very burly, so there's no body. It's got some body, but it doesn't have any complexity. There's not really any Virginia or anything like that. Anyway, you'll smoke it. You'll have tongue bite. Almost, I think it's important to go through aromatics first because you'll be so trained in tongue bite. I know because cats they'll actually start probably where they should, which is probably in the English, style, and then they'll have to go back and try like a Virginia or a Virginia Perique or something like that, and then they're like, "Oh, the tongue bite's so terrible," and it's like, "Yeah, you didn't start with aromatics, So that's probably the issue. And if you start with aromatics, I think that they hurt so much that you almost get used to it. If you start with aromatics, then I think you'll go to a light dusting kind of like fruity Virginia. You're talking about your university flakes or something like that. You'll see something, you'll say, hey, I know that name, Peterson. Yeah. I have a Peterson pipe. And you'll probably gravitate towards the Something Delight University Flake. If you do catch the bug, you'll end up getting on a forum and someone will lead you to Englishes, which I think is the next step. Mm-hmm. Then Virginia Perique. Sometimes they're interchangeable, but I do think most people go for straight aromatic straight Virginia, English Balkan, Vapor, back to Virginia again, because Virginia is complicated. And then finally you'll have exhausted every bit of your English and Balkan and Virginia and Vapor, and you'll try to figure out what's the best or what isn't the best, and you'll do everything in your power to try something new. And someone will introduce you to Lakeland Aromatics, which are very complicated Virginias with floral notes all in them. The Lakeland essence that people say smells like old lady purses. But soap. I promise you, like soap, real perfumed. It's the best, in my opinion. It's the only summer blend I'll smoke. I do think it takes years to get back to where you're like, I'll try anything as long as it's not Latakia or whatever. I think that there's a point where you sort of smoke yourself into, this is sort of the same old rodeo. Yeah. Is there anything new? And if you have kind of an adventurous palate, you end up going to Lakeland and what I call the English aromatics, which Jeff Tremaines has some of the best aromatics. Talking about Ramsgate, talking about Woodbridge, talking about Blackpool. I haven't had Ramsgate, so don't take my word for that. I just I can tell you I'm going to love it. I like Woodbridge. I like Blackpool a whole lot. I love everything that Godwith and Hogarth put out. I love everything that Samuel Godwith puts out. Maybe not the Talisman one. It's not my favorite. It's a weak cherry, but Godwith and Hogarth has the best cherry flake that was ever created. And people are sitting there thinking cherry's disgusting. Chocolate's disgusting. It's you're used to the American style. Yeah. I promise you that the cherry and chocolate blend, Bob's Chocolate Flake is the best flake aromatic I've ever had. It tastes just like chocolate bars. Really? It's so good. Jeez. It is. It's all smoked all summer. That and the cherry flake. And the rum flake is super good. And Innerdale and Grasmere. You've always been a Grasmere guy. Well, since I've known you. Yeah. I mean, I love all those. Yeah. Innerdale has a nice almond-like flavor to it. It's just sweet almond, sort of like a marzipan. Oh, okay. Fondant kind of flavor to it. Very good. But sorry, I talked a lot about that, but I do think that that's the general trajectory. And because one of my favorite things to smoke in the spring is Grousemore by Samuel Godwith. That is a delicious lemongrass tobacco. You've had it before, I think. I have. Okay, no, sorry, I didn't even cut you off, but real quick, if you do go to the Lakelands, just know they'll ghost the piss out of a pipe. Oh, yeah. So you don't want to smoke them in something that you're really precious with, because they will keep that flavor. 1792 flake, delicious. Tonquin bean, all those things are really great. All of them will stick with a pipe for the life of the pipe. I mean, I don't smoke them in anything. I usually smoke them in couple of corn cobs or meerschaum. Sort of going back to what you were saying, it not trying to sound pompous in any way, but because of my entrance into it, I didn't start with aromatics, we'll just be frank. Well, yeah, but you had a good introduction, didn't you? Yeah. Well, I think the first 10 that I bought with you was Blue Note, Dan's or something. Yeah, Dan's Blue Note. Yeah, Dan's Blue Note, which I don't remember much about it. Is it an aromatic? It is an aromatic. So I guess I did, but I only smoked 2 or 3 bowls. Well, you didn't start on that. I gave you a sampling, didn't I? I don't remember what I don't even really count that moment as the moment I started smoking. Okay. I started right before we started doing this podcast. So it was the fall of 2018, and because I was really on you to start smoking. I think it was Peterson's Irish whiskey.
And
Irish whiskey ain't bad. It's not super aromatic.
Old Dublin was the first one I bought that I really
Right.
So and that's in English. And then also I will say that I guess just the way that I smoke, I don't get tongue bite a lot.
You do use the breath method, though?
Yeah, I use the breath method, and it may also help that the first pipe I bought, the first briar, had the P system, the P lip.
Mm-hmm. That's helpful.
Yeah.
Peterson systems are always super good.
But now I don't smoke it. I smoke it the least of any of my pipes. So, and all my other pipes are fishtail. So, but yeah, I don't get a lot of what I get more often than not is sort of the equivalent of tongue bite, but on the roof of my mouth. I get that sometimes, but it's never bad.
Right.
But sort of getting back to Penzance, yeah, there's not a lot of body to it. To me, it smokes a lot like an aromatic. Like it's got that English note, but there's no body to it. It's almost like there is a lot of burley in it, which I don't know what the percentages are, or if there even is any burley.
I mean, like, I think it's very Oriental forward, and it, someone said that it had kind of a Lakeland essence. I heard that before, or floral essence. It doesn't to me at all. The Latakia is very pronounced. It looks like it's predominantly Latakia. But because it lacks what it seems to lack is Virginia. So, like, in my opinion, this is like, it has all the front of Latakia that, say, Commonwealth does, but with nothing to back up, like the Virginia that Commonwealth has. I don't think it, of course, Commonwealth is just a 50-50 Latakia Virginia, but they put so much Latakia that there's really, you can't tell that there's Oriental, even though it's supposed to be Oriental 4. I don't know, it's just not good. Like, I just don't think it's good. I mean, I think their Balkan Sobrani's better, their Margate's better.
And Soda Bed.
And Soda Bed has an essence to it that's tastier. Some people say that it's changed and it's not so good, but I like Soda Bed a lot. Their vapors aren't good either. Dorchester and Dunbar are not good.
Dunbar smells like a gym sock.
Which should mean that there's a ton of Perique in it, but it just doesn't. It's not very. It's just not good. I just don't get it.
I don't remember my opinion on Dorchester and Dunbar. I don't think I didn't like it, but I don't think it was spectacular.
Well, I like Tilbury. Stonehaven kind of grows on you after a while, but Stonehaven's not that interesting either.
Yeah.
And I got a bag of Peacehaven, which is straight Virginia.
Stonehaven and Peacehaven?
I think they're named after all these towns on the coast.
Oh,
okay. They're all coastal towns in England.
Oh.
So I know where Stonehaven's at. I think Peacehaven. I know Woodbridge. I think is. You know what? I'm not gonna say. I think it's Cornwall, but I could be wrong. But like, they're all coastal points.
Cornwall.
Well, I guess because J.F. Germain just wanted to name it after the cities, like kind of give it all like a kind of like a English charm. I mean, which doesn't make any sense to me because all Germain blends are made in Jersey.
Oh.
So.
When the name Esoterica doesn't sound English to me, it sounds Italian or something. I don't know.
Is it Latin?
It could be Latin, I guess.
I don't know.
I don't know the history of that word. It just, in my mind, it doesn't invoke, Commonwealth. That invokes British,
well,
Dorchester.
Great, a Commonwealth tobacco. And then, name it. But, Dorchester, Dunbar, all those, Dunbar, wasn't the, wait. No, I'm mistaken. I swear something was related to Dunkirk. To a certain one of those towns was related to Dunkirk. One of them, that's where they shipped out from. I think to get there were private fishermen who crossed the English Channel to get the soldiers out of Dunkirk.
Yeah, but I don't know where that.
I don't know where that was. I thought it was Dunbar, but now I'm mistaken. Now I'm thinking that I thought Dunbar because of Dunkirk, but I swear one of those port towns. I think they jettisoned out of there to get to Dunkirk.
I know where you're thinking, but I don't think it was Dunbar. The only reason why I think that is because stuff like that, they sort of sound the same, but they don't. I pick up on those really easily, and they stick with me. Mm-hmm. So I feel like if that city had been Dunbar, I would have remembered that, and I'd have made some stupid dad joke they went from Bar to Kirk or something,
right?
Or they went to Bar and Kirk. I would have done something dumb like that. I don't know.
But that's that's kind of a one-off. I just know that's where they got some of their names from. Like I said, I'm not smashing them because I love their aromatics. amazingly good.
I think the thing,
and they're all just Virginia with like I love licorice, so
yeah,
I'm just not a fan of like what I think you can get far superior English Balkan and Virginia blends elsewhere. If you're going to do Virginia and Perique, I think you should stick with German companies.
Yeah.
And if you're going to go for an English style tobacco, I think America has it licked. I think that what GOP's does, I think puts Penzance and all these other ones quite nice as a superior blend.
Yeah.
Chelsea Morning is my favorite light English. Morning English, I guess, is what you get. Chelsea Morning is my favorite English. Period.
Who blends Artisan?
Scandinavian Tobacco Group.
That's one of my favorites. I can smoke it all the time.
Mm-hmm.
It and Nightcap both. I can just.
And that's another Scandinavian.
Yeah. So.
Of course, now it's Peterson's, not Dunhill.
Yeah. I think basically, to wrap it all up, Esoterica serves the purpose of it's the tobacco that you hunt and you collect, but it's not the tobacco that you necessarily want to smoke all the time. It doesn't fit that little niche of, hey, this is something I save for a special occasion. No, it's one that it fits that little hunter, like the adventurer, like I'm on the hunt to get me some. But
and there's nothing wrong with it
no.
either. I mean, like, I don't think that it's everything that I've smoked from Esoterica is a serviceable tobacco. It's serviceable. Like, it serves its purpose to be smoked. It's fine. It's not super great.
It's not worth paying extra for. You know what I'm saying?
I would never get on eBay and pay extra for it.
No. Unless the only thing you're doing is, wrapping it up and putting it away, never touching it. It's more like for a collector kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
But even then, I wouldn't pay extra for it. But I'm just saying that to me, that's the only excusable reason to pay extra for Esoterica, is that just for a collector. Say you have a tin of all of them or a bag of all of them, and you're trying to fill that collection. There. But if you're buying it just for the sake of smoking it, none of them is worth it. The only one that I would ever keep really on rotation, well, only three would be either Margate or Pembroke, depending on how I feel that day, and then Soda Bed. That's just me.
I really like the Soda Bed. It's a very good. It's probably the best that they've got,
because it's enough different from Nightcap that I still like, because it's very similar to Nightcap. I mean, it's trying to fit that same sort of. It's for before you go to bed, after you've had a good meal, all that kind of stuff. It fits that realm.
Yeah, and I just don't. I still to this day don't understand Penzance. It's just like, it's not something you should be chasing. They've got better tobacco. Literally, Esoterica has better tobacco. Margate is more readily available, and Soda Bed is more readily available than Penzance and Stonehaven, and they're superior.
This will be like one of the worst rated episodes we've ever done. But I will say I'm glad that
our viewers are totally allowed to have their terribly bad opinions.
Well, no, I was going to say I'm glad about that, because I'm trying to word this without getting too wild, but there needs to be room for like the people that like Joe Rogan brings on his podcast, right? You hear all the critiques and like, well, he gives these people voices. I'm like, there needs to be room for that in the world. There needs to be room for people who have differing opinions, and there's somewhere where someone can go and listen to. I mean,
Like I said, I'm just kidding. I mean, I think if you're smoking that, I wouldn't get caught up in the hype.
Mm-mm.
I think Peas makes a better English. I think they're more readily available, and I think they're more interesting. I mean, if someone asked me, that showed up and said, what if you could have any tobacco right now, what would you want? I think Bohemian Scandal by Peas would be the most interesting thing, because
I never heard of that.
Yeah, it's been discontinued since 2002, I think. It was his only maybe one of two of his only Syrian Latakia blends.
Okay.
Now, Three Oaks is amazing. Vintage Syrian is really good. Mm-hmm. I think that they're just better. But I mean, if I could try anything, I would try that like discontinue. I wouldn't go find Balkan Sobrani. I wouldn't go find all of these. I would find that one Peas blend because I like Peas' stuff.
What do you think about McBaron? Like, what's your?
McBaron's good.
Yeah.
They came out with that HH Latakia Flake.
That was pretty good.
It was amazing. Yeah.
That was good, and
It's a birthday gift from you.
was it?
Yeah, you gave me that for my birthday.
Oh, there you go. But what was our other one that I think we tried? Did we try?
We did the HH Vintage Syrian. We did the HH.
Did we do Dark Fired Kentucky?
Yeah, I did that. HH Dark Fired isn't as good as the or oh golly, why can't I think?
Orlick?
Orlick. Yeah, thank you. I wanted to say Orson Welles blend.
I thought you were thinking about that guy, Russell Willett.
But no, Orlick. Orlick's and Orlick is better, and I think Orlick might have because I kind of go back and forth on this all the time. But Peter Heinrich's.
I thought that was gonna come up. The one that's in like a paint can.
Yeah, now that's good too. But I actually think I like Orlick's Dark Fired better now. Because I've been kind of going back and forth smoking either one. But what Peter Heinrich does the best at is Curly Block, which I just got a cut-off Patrick a piece. It's the best vapor I think that's ever been made. Heinrich's Curly Block is amazing. It's expensive. It's about $80 for a block.
But it's a block.
It's a block. I mean, like, you probably can get about, if you cut it into coins similarly cut like any other coin that you'd get, there'd probably be like, 9-10 cans worth of coins in that one block that I got. So, I mean, it's not.
And I don't know if it's just me, but they seem to be a little bit bigger coins.
Just because I cut them bigger.
Well, I mean, the circumference.
Yeah,
they seem a little bigger than a normal, like an Escudo.
But those are amazing, and that's German. McBaron, Scandinavian tobacco. I say German. You guys, just think of like Northern Europe.
Yeah. I
don't know if I should clarify Northern European. I want to try Indonesian tobacco. That's the next move to get. You got away from America. You got away from the European. You got away from. You want to move kind of east. There's an Indonesian, just a whole bunch of Indonesian tobacco.
Well, talk about that. I don't think we mentioned this. So while I was in Vietnam, I got some Vietnamese tobacco for Zach, and I don't think I've talked to you since. Maybe we talked about this. I can't remember. Have you had a chance to smoke any of it?
So I've smoked. So there's like
there's like 4 different strengths too.
Yeah, so Patrick brought back I don't want this to sound insulting. It's not. They're good. But they are equivalent to cigarette tobacco.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's
so,
not,
I mean,
it's not
I
for
smoke
pipe.
them like a cigarette. Like, I went and got some Zigzag and rolled it on my own and smoked it. That's the way I did it. I'm an old cigarette smoker. This is not a thing. They kick like a mule. I haven't done the one which would be natural nicotine or natural tobacco. To kind of give you guys an understanding of what that is, if you don't know, I think like if there's like 3% nicotine inside a regular cigarette, I think that the natural or the wild tobacco is like 12%.
Oh, geez.
It's some crazy thing where it's like it would probably knock me down.
Well, they kept showing me videos of it when I was there of people, just smoking it out of like a wooden pipe, not like a pipe, but like
it's almost like a bong.
Yeah.
Thing.
And they smoke it and then like start shaking and like pass out.
It's good tobacco, but it's not pipe tobacco, which the Indonesian one is.
Oh, it is?
I'm going to try to track it down. I don't know how. And I think that's the thing with anybody who's interested in the taste of tobacco is over time, that's why I said, I think the natural trajectory is to actually circle back to an aromatic. It's not the aromatic, but it is an aromatic.
Yeah.
Which is what I've done. And now I'm like, well, let's go find something else. I
couldn't find any like just straight pipe tobacco there. The only even essence of pipe tobacco that was in Vietnam was I think they had some Orlick in a can or in a tin, and they had some pipes, and I can't for the life of me remember the brands, but it was well-known brands that we know.
But there is an article on it called Indonesian pipe tobacco. You can just Google it. It's like I'm trying to think of what. I mean, so that's what some of it looks like. You see how they roll it and block it too.
Oh,
And we can leave a link to some of this.
yeah, for sure.
There's some. I know that they smoke it with a specific type of like banana leaf or something like that, so it kind of makes like an aromatic latakia.
Okay,
That's what I heard, at least, or something too akin to that. Don't quote me. Read the article, guys.
Yeah. Well, when we were in Vietnam, it was during the Lunar New Year, so they were making some kind of thing that they make every Lunar New Year, and they use like banana leaf and they wrap it up and whatnot. And like we went to somebody's house it was like a factory kind of like the parents and the grandparents and the kids, they were all running around just doing it, and the little kids who don't know how to actually do it, they're just messing. Like, they're just throwing it in a leaf, folding it up, starting all over, like just playing with it.
Now, what is it exactly? It's a cake?
I'd have to get Ann here to explain it, but
because when I watched the Watchmen show, they made those traditional Vietnamese moon.
Oh yeah, which Ann saw that and she was like, "That's not a mooncake." She's like, "That's not a mooncake," and I was like, "They said it," and I don't think you know anything. I mean, you're from Vietnam, you don't know. But no, yeah, because we watched.
Take that.
Nah, she was just. I didn't really say that. I was like, well, I guess they didn't.
I think she brought up mooncakes to me one time, and I was like, "That's great. Keep that in Vietnam. I've got moon pies. They're better." And I think she didn't like that. We got into an argument between moon. I've never even had a mooncake, so I was like the idiot. She's had a moon pie, so technically,
has she?
I imagine she has.
Well, they have a thing that's like a moon pie that you can get at the Asian markets called like Choco something. Choco something. I don't know. It's like it's not as good as a moon pie.
Oh really?
But it's like, I mean, it's the same thing as a moon pie, but it's a little bit thicker and it's a little more flaky, like the marshmallowy outside.
I think a fresh moon pie would be the greatest thing ever.
One that just came right off.
Came right off the conveyor. Think of it like this, because everyone who's listening has had a moon pie. If you haven't, you're a sinner and you're going to hell. It's a marshmallow cream center graham cracker coated in chocolate or some sort of coating flavoring. Could be vanilla, it could be banana. Chocolate's traditional.
I love the banana ones.
Yeah.
I mean, chocolate is the one, but the banana ones are good too.
Mm-hmm.
They're pretty good.
If they came off the conveyor, they had to be warm, so that marshmallow would be good. And
yeah, because a lot of people will microwave them.
I microwave them.
Yeah, you put it in their microwave.
Prefer microwave moon pie because it's warm.
That was funny because I remember in that Watchmen, her like shop is called Milk in Hanoi. Right. I was like, what the crap. That is funny that they made it where it was like one of the states. It was like a United States.
Well, the Vietnam War in the Watchmen comic, they won it.
Yeah, it was a lot different because they had the Watchmen. Right. They had the comedian.
It really was just Manhattan.
Yeah, Manhattan came in and just destroyed them all.
Right.
Which is funny to me because, of course, I didn't read the comic, but I watched the Zack Snyder movie. And looking back on it now, I think there's one scene where Manhattan just comes up like over somewhere and he just like destroys a whole. Mm-hmm. And to me, that's like looking back on it now, that's just the same thing as that guy in like the opening of Full Metal Jacket where they're flying over that crop field and he's just shooting innocent people. That's like the same thing. He was just killing people.
Right.
But you're in that idea that Manhattan is supposed to be above everybody else, but which again, I don't really want to get into the philosophy of the Watchmen because I don't fully understand it either. I haven't. Well, not that I don't understand it. I haven't sat down to process it. Right. I just watched it for entertainment when I was younger, and of course with the new show, or it's not new now, but it's newer. I only watched like one episode, so I don't.
Well, the Watchmen comic, every superhero was a kind of a political philosophy.
See, I didn't know that.
And that kind of helps you,
Okay, before you tell me who each one's supposed to be, I always gravitated to Night Owl or whatever his name is. Mm-hmm. What is he supposed to be? I
think he is democracy.
Oh.
I think he is sort of like the democratic
freedom. Well, now, I love Rorschach. Don't get me wrong.
He's tyranny.
Yeah, Rorschach is like the character. But like, if I was going to be like where I saw myself in the movie, because a lot of times, I think this is not supposed to be any kind of mind-blowing kind of revelation here. I'm basically stating the obvious. I think most people when they interact with media, whether it's reading a book or listening to a song or watching a movie, you have people or characters that you relate to as you are now.
Mm-hmm.
And then you have characters that you want to be.
Right.
And like watching The Watchmen, I was like, I feel like I am whatever his name was, Night Owl or whatever his name was. But I wanted to be like Rorschach.
Right.
But, or, you know, in the comedian, you know, he was okay too, but, I mean, but those were the three I sort of gravitated to. I felt like Manhattan, even though I like Superman, don't get me wrong, I just felt like he was a Superman-like character. And I was like, I don't really care about you. But and then everybody was obsessed with the blue dick. I'm like, I don't give two craps about the blue dick. Just watch the damn movie. So what was Manhattan supposed to be?
I think he's a technocracy, or whatever is ruled by science and reason.
The comedian? What was he?
Fascism.
Oh, that makes sense. And you got the Silk Spectre, both Silk Spectres.
I don't know what Silk Spectre represented.
And then, of course, the villain.
Ozymandias is, I think, a Hobbesian, monarchistic kind of thing.
Mm. Yeah, it's interesting. Like I said, part of why I like the owl guy is I like Patrick Wilson too. So I gravitated toward that actor too.
Did you like him in Aquaman?
That was probably one of his weaker roles. I like the movie for it's a popcorn movie. The part I didn't like, it was directed by a horror director. And there was parts of it, you know, that got a little horrific, you know, with those little creatures that were attacking him.
Yeah.
I wanted that more. I wanted more of that. Because the deep ocean is the scariest place on Earth. Take advantage of that and make it horror. But I think the big superhero studios are trying to stay away from horror because, well, like, you know, the guy who did the first Doctor Strange, he did Sinister. And he was supposed to come on and do the second one, and he stated that it'll be like Marvel's first horror movie. But then like Feige was like, no. And he's fired. He got fired. Or he left. So they have somebody else come in and direct. I'm like,
but
I wanted that.
Like, it's like set up like a horror movie.
It's the Multiverse of Madness or something. It sort of sounds Lovecraftian in a way, or Dungeons and Dragons-ish.
Well, that seems like the way they're going. They're like going to kind of steer into that.
But I probably what happened was Scott is it Erickson or Derrickson? I don't know who the director was. He wanted to go harder. Like, he wanted to really go horror. But I guess the
you're just not going to get that. I mean, it'd be interesting to do like a hard R Marvel movie.
I guess you're going to get that with the New Mutants, but it looks like it's going to be awful though. So
they're going to go hard R.
Well, I don't know if it's hard R, but it started. You know, I don't know if it was hard R or not because it started with Fox, and Fox didn't care to make them R. You know, they made Deadpool R, they made Logan R. They didn't care. But now it's going to be released under Disney or whatever.
Is it being released under Disney?
Well, Disney's going to be releasing it, but I don't know what's going to happen.
Because I think Fox still has like...
I mean, it definitely is... Disney's in charge of it right now, but I don't know if they'll still release it under like some banner, which they just released that, you know, it's not called 20th Century Fox now, it's going to be called 20th Century Television or something.
What?
Or something like that. I can't remember. I don't remember. I know Disney is in charge of getting it released, but I don't know what they're going to do about it. I don't think they're altering the movie at all.
Huh.
So it might be a hard R, or, you know, real, like, you know, was that NC-17? There's never really anything.
How long has that movie been trying to come out though?
Like 4 years, I think.
Yeah, it's something crazy.
Either way. Yeah, I would like to see a more, like a hard R approach to some of that stuff, especially with Aquaman. I really wanted Aquaman to be like, just give me some good horror scenes. And like the part where he sort of jumps down and all those like creatures are doing, it's good. I liked it. But I needed some more. With me, horror is more atmosphere than it is jump scares, which is funny. I was thinking about this yesterday. Tell me what you think about this. Might should have said this for the October one, but just forewarning y'all, October is going to be a busy month for everybody. There might not even be an episode that month.
Right.
We don't know.
We don't know yet.
So, but it's funny to me. So, like, scary movies is a genre, or horror movies is a genre. You have horror, like just any time of the year horror, but then you have Halloween-specific movies. You know, Halloween, Trick or Treat, Tales of Halloween, things like that. Right. You have your specifics, but then you have other things. Like Texas Chainsaw Massacre could happen at any time of the year. You know, we don't know when that happened. I think it was summertime, but it happened. if I want something that gives me the atmosphere of scary, but not so scary, Halloween specific movies are almost always less scary than non-Halloween specific movies. Almost all the time. They're so much easier to watch if you don't want to get like super scared.
Why?
I don't know. I don't know what the idea. I don't know what it is, but like yesterday, I was like, I've had it. I gotta get into the Halloween spirit. I usually don't do that. I usually wait till middle of September, beginning of October. That's when I'm like, okay, I'm on full Halloween mode, right?
Now, he said some blasphemous stuff. He said he would never criticize someone who got into Christmas early because of that.
Yeah. Okay. So used to I've look. I have this antiquated notion that October is for Halloween, November is for Thanksgiving, and Christmas, or December is for Christmas.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that's how I grew up. It's easy to remember, right? October 1st or October 31st, that's Halloween. November 1st through November 30th, that's Thanksgiving. Like, I mean, that's just really, okay, but it starts to get a little confusing here, but really the first half, like the first 3 weeks of November, are just a continuation of Halloween feeling without the scary part. So you still got your same fall decorations up. You just take down the skeletons and the cobwebs and you turn the jack-o'-lantern around so you see the side that didn't get cut, and you leave it on your front porch till it rots. That's November. November is sort of like the grace period. You know, you sort of, and then Thanksgiving, of course, which is a superior holiday to Christmas because you get together and you hang out with your family. There's no idea that, oh, I need to get somebody a gift.
Right.
It's so much better. From a secular perspective. Of course, the meaning of Christmas has a lot more meaning to it, but then Christmas is December 1st to December 31st. Sorry, that's Christmas. But of course,
I would probably disagree a little bit there. I'd say that
that is me growing up, Patrick.
I would say December 1st to January 6th.
Yeah, because the 12th day of Christmas start on Christmas.
Right.
They start, so you have to go to the 12th, which would be like January 6th.
Yeah, I think that's right.
Yeah. So like have had
also,
to alter
like
that.
after the 6th or whatever, that's usually when school. I always count school holiday too. Like even my high school days, I count all that. That's so like I let it filter out. Also, parties extend beyond December 25th.
Yeah.
Christmas is complicated, so like you kind of have to give it a little breathing room. But breathing room doesn't mean October.
No, and like so where. Well, okay. Here's I guess a little. We're going on a wild thing here, but let me try to get us back to where we were going. The last episode, as we alluded to earlier, was in December of 2019. A lot of time has passed, and a lot of things have happened, and we'll get into those later. Okay, we got some special treats for y'all, but we'll get into that later. But one of the big things that happened is me and Zach both changed jobs.
Yeah,
that is one thing that happened. But where we used to work is a town. It's got this little small town kind of vibe, downtown little area. And 2 different years, I drove through.
Those are key.
Maybe 3 years.
I think it was 3.
I would drive through on October 27th, and they would already have their freaking snowflakes up on the freaking light posts and Christmas flags, and I would just get livid because that's just ridiculous to me. And look, and even though I love Halloween, I love Halloween. Halloween's the best holiday ever. It's my favorite time of the year. It's so good. Whatever. I apply this logic everywhere. Like when I see Halloween stuff in July in Hobby Lobby, I freak out too. I flip shit. I'm like, well, hold on, this don't need to be here. That needs to be here like in September. That's more appropriate. Because if it's still hot outside, I don't want to think about Halloween. But as you get older, you understand there's complications. And again, the complicated idea that, the 12th day of Christmas starts on Christmas. I didn't learn that in school. I learned that later in life. And so, so that extends Christmas out. So, I used to get really upset about seeing, Christmas stuff early. And seeing people who, on October 29th or 30th, being like, I just can't wait till Christmas, and share some post of an elf in a stocking or some shit. I don't know. But yesterday, I don't know if it's just with all that we've dealt with this year, what y'all know and what y'all will find out later, all this crazy stuff. I just to get me back into it, I had to watch some like Halloween-y stuff yesterday.
Yeah. In
the middle of August. So I just had to do it. So I'm like, you know what? I'm breaking my own rules, so I guess the rules get to change. That's the cool thing about being
I'm fine with Halloween being here all the time. But
I
Christmas,
know you are.
Just confine that crap to December. So that's it, guys. That's gonna wrap it up. So vote Donald Trump.
Yeah, none of y'all made it this far anyway.
Mhm.
That's not gonna matter. Nobody's listening at this point.
But yeah, we're trying to stay more consistent. Corona has been a nightmare, and
In life.
and life just in general, job changes and things like that. But we're back for now. We're trying to figure this out. So it's good to hear from you guys. Y'all can leave a like or comment or whatever you want to do.
Yeah. If you want to reach out to us, just message us on Instagram. I think that's where a lot of our interactions with y'all are, is on Instagram. If you're not following us, it's pipecast256. If you want to send an email, it's pipecast256@gmail.com. If you want to leave a review, rate us on Apple, help us get out there a little bit more. We never really have pushed that before, but we're gonna try to do that now. Share us around, leave some reviews.
Yeah.
Anything, it ain't got to be the best reviews. If you didn't like something we did, let us know. I don't know.
Yeah, we're not. We don't take anything too terribly seriously. We just like smoking a pipe and talking with each other. And if you guys want to join in, that's great.
I guess we